Hello, friends. Welcome back. In today's session, we are going to see coronavirus COVID-19 vaccine development. When will the vaccine develop? In this session, we are going to discuss various coronavirus COVID-19 vaccines that are being developed by many countries across the world currently. We are going to see who are the front runners in this development and which country might develop it faster. While coronavirus COVID-19 vaccine development is key, we should not forget that drugs and diagnostics are also very essential to contain this pandemic. Let's take a look at what the world has to offer with regard to vaccine development. Vaccine that is considered the holy grail of medicine has all of a sudden hit the limelight, igniting a fire for the invention of the coronavirus COVID-19 vaccine. The race toward a vaccine for coronavirus COVID-19 has been ongoing since the outbreak. But when will it be ready? Scientists around the world are working round the clock to develop a vaccine for coronavirus COVID-19. From China to the United States, Germany, and Britain, all of these countries are participating in this race. New technologies are helping speed things up. More than 100 potential vaccines are under development. Some are already at an advanced stage and are being tested by volunteers. The pace may be unprecedented, but there is still a long way to go in the battle against the outbreak. All of the vaccine candidates currently being developed are based on genetic material of DNA protein spike. Pfizer-BioNTech was the first German company to be approved for clinical trials. The 200 healthy volunteers that are taking part in the trial are receiving what is known as a gene-based vaccine. This type of vaccine introduces genetic material RNA from the pathogen into the body. The RNA tells the body cells to recreate a non-disease causing portion of the virus, antigens. These antigens then spark the immune system into creating antibodies that fight against the real coronavirus COVID-19. The company is also planning to test the vaccine in the US in the upcoming week. The biotech company CureVac, based in southwestern Germany, is also working on a vaccine like this. Amazingly, just 1 gram of their active ingredient could be used to create 1 million vaccine doses. They are of the opinion that this RNA technology would provide a very good and fast solution. The two companies were hoping to put their vaccine on the market this year, but unfortunately, they will more likely need a year to a year and a half for human inoculation. Chinese firm Sinovac is meanwhile creating an inactivated vaccine called the PicoVac, PICOVACC. This contains an inactive SARS-CoV-2 to generate an immune response. Using this more than 100-year-old method, the viruses are simply killed and introduced into the body. The danger here is that the immune system can overreact so much that it kills the person. But experiments on mice and monkeys have shown that this vaccine can be a very successful and effective solution. It is now being tested on humans as well. The advantage of an inactivated vaccine is that it is extremely simple to produce and can be done in almost any country. Also, they are in phase 2 of developing CanSino's AD5-nCoV. This vaccine contains common adenovirus with coronavirus spike protein to generate an immunity response. Fever is a known side effect of CanSino vaccine. A team at UK's Oxford University is hoping to have a vaccine ready by September 2020, namely ChAdOx1 vaccine. They have opted for a third method, live vaccines with viral vectors. This method uses a different harmless virus as a vehicle. It is genetically modified so that the surface imitates the typical structure of the coronavirus, its spikes. When the virus disguised in this way is administered, the immune system forms antibodies that would also fight the real COVID 19. Although no one knows if the UK's active ingredient works yet, a company in India has already started its mass production. They have started the first proper human trial in Europe. They had a head start because they already started work on inoculations for other viruses, including one very similar to COVID 19. The experimental vaccine has been tested on monkeys and has reportedly protected them from coronavirus. If it is safe and if it works, the vaccine could be in limited use by September. However, currently only human safety trials are ongoing and the human efficacy trials are pending. In Australia, the University of Queensland is working with Melbourne's Peter Doherty Institute. Researchers have carried out the first comprehensive preclinical trials involving animals. They say tests on mice have yielded promising results and hope to test humans by the end of this month. But they warn that the earliest they could deliver a vaccine would be early next year. In a separate study, a Perth-based clinical research company, Linear, is also set to trial a potential vaccine and is seeking volunteers in the next 2 months. Israel, on the other hand, claims to have recently had a major breakthrough in the race to find a cure for COVID 19. Scientists at Israel's top institute of biological research have managed to isolate a key coronavirus antibody which could possibly neutralize the virus. Following this development, the Israel's defense minister visited the Institute of Biological Research where the antibody was isolated. The minister claims that the antibody can destroy the SARS-CoV-2 virus inside a carrier's body. The institute is in the process of patenting the antibody formula. Once the patent is procured, the search will begin for an international manufacturer. The claim of Israel's cure is distinct as the antibody that they have isolated is monoclonal in nature, which means that it has been derived from a single recovered cell, making the chances of success higher. Antibodies are proteins developed by the immune system to fight the virus, and they remain in a person's body even after recovery, which makes them key in developing not just a cure but also a vaccine. Now that the formula has been developed, it will have to be tested to gauge its efficiency and deployability. All said and done, the tests are underway and only the results of the tests would prove what actually is in store. The United States of America is also a frontrunner in this initiative, carrying out a fast-paced research on the monoclonal antibody cure for coronavirus. The University of Vanderbilt is working with drug firm AstraZeneca on this project. Also, biotech firm Moderna Therapeutics has developed an mRNA vaccine that contains a genetic material from coronavirus to develop immunity. Another American company, Inovio Pharmaceuticals, has developed a DNA-based vaccine, INO 4800. The INO 4800 can increase the production of antibodies that can and are known to fight coronavirus. In addition to all the above, plasma therapy trials are also underway. As always, the US is claiming to be the first and the fastest to develop the vaccine by probably the end of the year 2020. Italy, one of the worst hit countries in terms of casualties from the current pandemic, has announced that it has successfully developed a vaccine to contain the spread of the coronavirus, which works on humans. As per the tests carried out at Rome's infectious disease Spallanzani Hospital, the coronavirus has antibodies generated in mice that work on human cells. Scientists experimented with the vaccine on mice that had successfully developed antibodies that block the virus from infecting the cells. According to Sir Jeremy Farrar, a world renowned medical researcher, he optimistically states that we will have a vaccine that is believed to be safe and protective by the fourth quarter of 2020. Further, he states that it would only be the start and that having a vaccine at such a stage would not be enough to vaccinate everybody all over the world, and that is what they need to work toward, which would take a few months later. They would need to do all of these things in parallel rather than all in sequence together as quickly as they can to offer vaccines to the world. He also states that making the vaccine available to everyone is the crucial element. However, this is all going to be a costly affair, which according to him could cost up to $8 billion, and that would only be for the start of it to get the vaccine developed. Additional costs for mass production and distribution once developed. From a wide range of options of plasma therapy to monoclonal antibodies, researchers are spending numerous hours at work to ensure we have a quick cure. Nevertheless, it is not just concentrating on vaccines. There is more to it, which is diagnostics, drugs, and therapeutics. The latter three are also very essential. For example, at the start of HIV epidemic in the late 1980s, many were crossing heads to get a vaccine which they thought would change the world. But 30 to 40 years later, we still do not have a vaccine for HIV. Indeed, we do not have a vaccine for tuberculosis or malaria either. And yet, actually, through good diagnostics, through good health systems, and through good public health, and through having good drugs, we have been able to keep the horrible pandemics of HIV, TB, and malaria under control, although not eliminated completely. So, the point of discussion is that it is not just about vaccines, drugs, or diagnostics. It is about all of these together. It would be unwise to direct the focus completely on the vaccine and neglect the produce of drugs and diagnostics that are equally essential. To summarize it all, medical researchers from around the world are working at breakneck speed to develop a vaccine, and hopefully we should have it sooner rather than later. How sooner? Only time can tell. However, the time frame is by end of 2020 or early 2021 for the final vaccine to be out for inoculation. Despite all humongous, trailblazing, and painstaking efforts possible, the vaccine still has a time frame of 12 to 18 months to be out for inoculation. Some major pharmaceutical companies have started manufacturing the so-called vaccines already in anticipation of clearance, as waiting for the approval and then starting to manufacture would again have lost time in addition. Keeping fingers crossed that this meets the timeline. That being said, medical researchers have also warned that vaccine alone is not going to be the solution, and that focus on drugs and diagnostics should not shift. That's it from me for now. Please do like, share, and subscribe. Also, do not forget to click the bell icon. Please do leave your comments below, your feedback and suggestions, which are equally important for us to grow this channel. Hope to see you again soon. Thank you.